Welcome, everybody, to the GWP. I am the Texas Tornado and the master of the Iron Claw, Jose Sands. I'm here with the American Dream.
I don't know if I'm an American Dream.
American Dream.
But I am Hollywood.
Hollywood Marcus. And the Hammer.
I'm a Hollywood Dream. There you go.
And the Hammer.
Big Ralph.
And we won't get into why we call you the Hammer.
Yeah, let's not.
Let's keep
it PG.
We got to keep it somewhat PG. We're here to talk about this week in wrestling, what could have been, what should have been, and what was. Now, we took a little week off, or we took last week off because of vacation, new year, new you, new goals. And after the new year, there was a lot of interesting things that happened in wrestling. One of the things that they're talking about is Rey Mysterio and him possibly going to Impact Wrestling. Now, I think this is a good move for Rey. Gives him a little TV time, less stress like the WWE schedule. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Do they have enough money to pay him?
Well, I mean, it's probably not as...
lucrative.
Well, not as lucrative and like a part-time gig for him, but I mean, come on. If Alberto's there and he's happy with whatever they're paying him, I'm sure they can get Rey.
That's a fair point. I think the schedule works better for him, and at his age, he doesn't need to be on the road a lot. Plus, he can help some of the younger talent develop. So, yeah, I think it's a good move for him. Apparently, WWE didn't offer him what he wanted, so...
Well, I'm sure the schedule is a big thing because that WWE schedule can be bad.
Yeah, it could be really, really tenuous and really hectic. So I'm pretty sure at this stage of his career, he doesn't need to go through that. He probably has enough money as it is.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, he probably, if he was smart and with his money, he could have let it stretch. And I'm sure he was doing a lot of independent dates. I know he did a lot of Mexico dates, but I mean, I know he was here and there in different promotions. Not a lot, but I'm sure enough to keep him well fed.
To keep him and his family.
Yeah.
His son might end up wrestling for TNA too, which is another thing. I think he wants his son to get a lot of exposure and wrestle in different places before he goes to WWE, so that might be a part of it too.
Absolutely. Do you put the title belt or at least put him in contention?
No. Yeah, I don't think he needs a belt.
No, he doesn't need the belt, but wouldn't that boost you as Impact Wrestling, putting a belt on a well-known person?
I mean, if you're bringing him in, you should at least toy with the idea of him going for the belt.
See, I wouldn't, because that's always been their issue. Ken Anderson came in, got the belt. RVD came in, got the belt. Like, you don't want to rehash the same, I'm a former WWE guy getting the belt,
I agree. You don't have to give him the belt, but you could toy. You could just have him, in
the contention.
In the contention for it, not winning it, but at least, putting some good matches, trying to get it.
Can he still go at that level, though? I haven't seen any of his matches in a while, so I'm not sure.
So I couldn't answer that as well. But I mean, your whole theory about putting on the belt when somebody comes in from an old WWE guy, I mean, we got news this week that Austin Aries came back to Impact Wrestling and won the global title.
But he was already a TNA champion before he even came to WWE.
He was, but if you think about it, he came from, your theory of him coming from WWE guy, yeah, he probably was prior, but they just threw the belt on him. Took it away from Eli Drake. The poor kid just got it.
Yeah, but I think Austin Aries brings more name notoriety to the belt.
Plus, and not Rey Mysterio? Look at you hear the pause? I got him. It felt so good. I got him.
I don't think... Did you get me, though?
You got.
Because think about it, like, Austin Aries is already a former TNA champion, right? He's not even a WWE guy. He's like a Ring of Honor guy, then a TNA guy, had a cup of coffee in WWE, now he's back. I would say he's more Ring of Honor in TNA than he is WWE. Plus, I think with him as a champion, it makes TNA look better because people know who Austin Aries is. I don't think people know who Eli Drake is.
Well, no, in that sense,
people know who Rey Mysterio is.
People know who Rey Mysterio is.
Yeah, but he doesn't need the belt though. He's
He
like
doesn't
Jake
need
Roberts.
it.
Again, it's not him getting the belt, it's him contending for the belt.
He doesn't even need to be a contention.
I mean, I agree. He doesn't need the belt, but like you said, he's there to elevate the talent. And where would you need him most to help elevate talent? You need him on the main with the belt. You need him. I mean, you don't need him in another program with.
You need
Patron.
him elevating the main event guys that you have.
If Eli Drake is going to be their homegrown guy, right, and they're going to do this whole thing where they're going to have new talent and old talent trying to help him out, then you need Eli Drake and Rey Mysterio. I mean, that's why you have Austin Aries there right now. Why Austin Aries did get the belt is to help Eli Drake along and to make him into that main event star, which you can see that's what they think he is.
I would put him in the X division. I will put Ray in the X division.
I don't even think they have the X division there anymore, do they? They have
they have it.
The global champion and the heavyweight champion or whatever.
the what's it called? I don't see TNA is so stupid. I don't even know the name of the title. The Grand Championship.
The Grand Championship. It's like I don't even think they have the X Championship anymore.
We can ask Google.
The old Google machine. Well, I mean, they do have new management, and new management has been making changes, and so it's for the good, I think. I think that the new year and the new TNA Impact Global Force, whatever they're called at this point, I think they're heading in the right direction. I think they need the older guys to help boost the younger guys, and they need to have these young guys, like an Eli Drake, take the wheel and drive the bus.
They have Scott D'Amore and
Don Callis.
Yeah, Don Callis is doing good work commentating for New Japan right now too. So he has a good wrestling mind. Another Winnipeg guy like Jericho and Omega. So yeah, they're in good hands. And plus Scott D'Amore is Canadian too. And I think TNA is in Canada, right? Canada.
Yeah, no, they're on that border between Connecticut and Canada.
Yeah, man. But I think they moved to Canada actually.
Yeah, I heard they did move to Canada as well, or it's a Canada-based company. Anthem is. But yeah, so with some of the changes that they've been doing with this new management, one of the things that they did do is let the talent take their gimmicks or whatever their character is with them on the road. They figured in this case, if they established themselves on TV with a certain character and they decide to go to the independents, then they can use the same character, which not only boosts the independents, but it boosts them because they're showcasing that character. Case in point, we have the Broken character that was part of the Global Force TNA Impact brand that was going through IP, and now we get word that that is no longer the case, that Anthem and that company has decided not to try to chase that IP, and the IP is now part of Matt Hardy, or Matt Hardy now has it. So, now that we have Woken Matt Hardy, does he go Broken, or does he stay the course, still use the character because it's very similar to the Broken character, and become Broken?
Wonderful.
I mean, it's great for him, and he can take it on the road, but he's also establishing, he can say that he was broken, he came back, became,
awoken.
Came back to his old self, and now he's woken. So it's still, as long as he could do the character traits that brought him to the dance, then I don't see what the difference is between broken and woken. But he does have the ability to use that gimmick, or the name, with a broken brilliance.
Kind of wish, I'm not sure where they're going with it, or what they're going to do, but so far it's been kind of lackluster. I sound very negative tonight, but I'm not. I'm just. It just seems like, because I saw some of the stuff in TNA, and it was like a slow build, and it was very intriguing. Like, it made you watch. Now I think they're just taking it as I don't know how to describe it, man.
But cheap thrills.
Yeah, it's not the same anymore, and I'm not sure if because they don't let Matt run with it the way he did at TNA, or what the issue is, but it just seems like something's missing and it's not connecting the way it should. At least for me. I know the audience, they enjoy chanting delete, but I mean, where's Senior Benjamin, where's Maxwell, where's Ruby?
Well, I think they couldn't have him until this happen until he's able to use the whole broken gimmick. So maybe in the near future they might come out.
Vanguard 1, you think we'll see Vanguard 1?
Well, Vanguard 1, once it became woken, started up again on Twitter. So, I mean, it started filming. So he's got Vanguard 1 going. I mean, he can do a lot of that stuff outside of the product. Like, you know, WWE.com has a lot. They could always put stuff on YouTube between the WWE channel. I mean, they can do
Facebook.
things. Facebook. You could do things. Facebook Live, YouTube Live. They can have stuff. They could have a better production group than they did when they were doing it back in Impact. So it all depends on how far they'll let him, or if they say, you know what, as long as it's not here on Raw or SmackDown or wherever we're at, and you do it on the side, as long as you have full range to take it where it can.
Or maybe they slow burn it until Brother Nero comes back.
Well, that's
another possibility. I was thinking maybe they're just waiting for Brother Nero to come into the picture.
Who has more magic though, Matt or Jeff?
As creativity, I would say Matt has the better. And as for in-ring skill, I would say Jeff is. I mean, I think you need to have one with the other. I don't see Matt Hardy as an amazing in-ring performer, but creative-wise, what he's done is amazing. But on the other hand, Jeff is just great in the ring. Somebody is breathing very heavy in here, and I'm getting a little crazy here. I'm getting a little hey.
It's not me.
Is Apollo on the thing, breathing in?
No. I'm even holding my breath to see if it's me.
We don't want you to fall down. So we got that, a whole bunch of things happening at TNE. I think for the best, or Impact Wrestling, I think for the best. I'm hoping it goes there. Other surprises that have happened after the new year, we have Molly Holly, or allegedly Molly Holly and Michelle McCool being contacted for the first time ever Women's Royal Rumble. What do you guys think of that? Are we excited? Are we tipping our hand a little bit with the surprises now, saying that Molly Holly and Michelle McCool came? Would you rather not have that information? Do you think it's too much information? Where do you guys fall on that?
I would rather not know, honestly. I like the wow factor of the countdown and then the music hits and you're like, oh, I can't believe in this case it would be she is back.
I would rather it be a mystery too. I really don't want to know, even though we kind of have an idea like Molly Holly, what's this other chick's name?
Michelle McCool.
Michelle McCool. You could probably see. I don't want to have all these old timers come back to take away from the spotlight of the people who are there now, and I'm pretty sure they have a large enough roster.
They have 17 main rosters.
Is that including NXT?
That's not including NXT. The ones that have already said that they're in it, which have been all the main roster women wrestlers, aside from the 2 champions, of course, is 17 of them.
So then, 17 plus Peyton, Billy Kay, that's 19. Ember Moon, 20. Aaliyah, 21. What's this chick's name from Sanity? Nikki Cross.
Do you put Ember Moon even though she's a champion?
Yeah, because she's like a title.
I mean, there have been in the past where they've had the NXT champion going against one of the women's champions, and the women's champion at the time, and we got Paige. She was the then NXT champion going against the women's champion. So you can do it if she wins. I mean, as Marcus said, I don't think you want to take away from the people that are there, but I also don't think you disagree. You take away not having like an Ember Moon come in.
You can look at it from 3 different perspectives, right?
I mean, I would like Lita to come back from one of the old timers, and you can't have, without Stratisfaction, you can't have the first Royal Rumble, or how broken Matt Hardy says, the Rumble that's for royalty.
Did he really say that?
He did.
Oh man.
Oh, because he entered himself in the Rumble for royalty. Or that is for royalty.
All right, but okay. So to Ralph's point, you don't want. Well, you can. You have to give some of the people who established the Divas slash Women's division their due, like Trish, Lita. They were a big part of what started women's wrestling in WWE, or what not started it, but made it watchable.
What put eyes on it?
Yeah, it's Lita and Trish. Like those two led the way, right? So you have to show them their respect. But then at the same time, do you want to take away from the women in the match that are they're now busting their butt to make it more viable? And then again, for the third point, you know Ronda Rousey's going to make an appearance. So she's going to overshadow, I think, everything if she does show up. So it's like, what avenue do you want to go down as far as, you know?
You can do this. You can have 25 current wrestlers and 5 old timers come back in. You know, enough that you're paying homage to the ones who paved the way, but still not taking away from the ones that are currently showcasing women's wrestling.
Fair enough. And you have to figure Alexa's not going to be in it. Charlotte's probably not going to be in it. But then who do you have win it? Because I know Asuka's in it. So I mean,
I think Asuka would be the smart choice. Keep that undefeated thing going.
You could have Asuka. You can have Nia Jax.
I see her going the way Big Show goes usually, where everybody.
If we let's assume because after what we saw today or what we read about Triple H and Ronda Rousey having dinner, and that she's possibly I just read something before we came on about Triple H made a statement saying that they're still in talks and that they're very interested, but there's a lot of things going on, a lot of things that need to be wrapped up. He's just buying time to say. I'm sure if she was going to be in it, they would be like, hey, we got Ronda. But I also think it's part of that. We want that surprise entrance. I think if you have a Ronda Rousey in there, Nia Jax will not be a winner because I'm sure they'll show Ronda in there. But then the other hand, since now we have Shayna Baszler, is she going to be a factor on the Rumble if Ronda is there?
Yeah, because they're friends.
Mm-hmm. Part of the 4 Horsewomen, or the UFC 4 Horsewomen. 4 Horsewomen? What the hell did I say?
4 Horsewomen, yeah. You said it right.
The horseradish?
Hey, I saw NXT today. This is off a little bit of the subject here, but I saw. It is because Shayna Baszler did a match this week with Dakota Kai.
She got
wrecked. But if you listen to the beginning of Shayna Baszler's music, she has horses coming in the beginning.
Yes.
Oh, like old school.
Like old school 4 horsemen.
See, that goes so many different ways. So you do 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen.
Wow. Yeah.
I can't.
so whatever you said, I'm there with it.
Okay.
Well, they've been teasing that for a while, so yeah, you would have to do 4v4.
I mean, even at the Mae Young Classic, they teased it.
Because I think if you do that, you hide any type of ring skill that Ronda lacks, or the other 3 actually. You hide anything that they lack, and you can pass it off as like a 4-woman match at WrestleMania. So I mean, yeah, I can see.
Well, from the rumor I heard, or better yet, I read.
I was going to say, who are you talking to?
They were trying to make Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. No, it's not for sure. Just a rumor that I read.
That's
I would say it would be more Stephanie McMahon because they teased that at WrestleMania.
Yeah, because I think she's in. I think she's already ready. But I mean, the Royal Rumble, because it's one of the big 4, sells itself, so you don't have to advertise her for it.
Right.
Show up and surprise everybody. But yeah, I think the deal's already made.
So if you have this 4-woman or this Royal Rumble, the first ever women's Royal Rumble, and you have somewhat of a star power coming in with a possibility of Ronda Rousey, where do you put the women's Royal Rumble on the card? And Do you put it at the first match, or do you put it at the last? Is it the first Rumble we see, or is it the last Rumble we see?
The first.
I think it's the first, like the first main event of that hour.
Yeah.
So the first hour is the Women's Royal Rumble. But why wouldn't you put it? Why wouldn't you put it at the end? It's the first of its kind. It's never been done. They did that in Hell in a Cell.
It's an unknown quantity.
I only say this because of the first ever, what's it called? Money in the Bank for women's.
Yeah, that was.
I prefer it being first, and if there's anything like that match, it's like, okay, the next match can just wipe away the history.
And if, to your point, Mr. Sands, okay, Charlotte and Sasha already proved themselves, already established themselves as somebody who can main event. Same thing with Bayley and Sasha. They already shown that they can carry a main event and have it be passable and have it be something that people say, oh my God, that's a great match. You have 30 women, some of which from NXT, who aren't main roster ready, and you want to put them on last. I would not do that.
It's the first of its kind. Like you said, it's the first, and with the possibility of a Ronda Rousey coming to the WWE, why not? Plus, you're going to have the star power. We're assuming we're going to have surprise entrants. You're assuming you're going to have Alitas. You're assuming you're going to have Trish Stratus. You're assuming that even the Hall of Famer last year, Beth Phoenix, might be in. We're assuming all this stuff, all these surprises. Nikki Cross, Kairi Sane. You're building this up. Like you said, the pay-per-view sells itself, and now you're selling it even bigger with the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. Why would that not go on last?
If you put it on first, you can talk about it the rest of the night, though.
But I did not think about that.
But you also can build it up through the night. You can say, as you can see what's going on with the men, this and the strategy, you think the women in the later one are going to do that as well?
I think ultimately it's going to come down to Vince, and I know Vince isn't going to do it. Triple H.
You know what? I didn't know you knew Vince that well. Can we get his number? We'd like to talk to him about a possible job. I mean, come on.
I got you after the podcast.
You got me? All right, after the podcast, we'll have to go off.
My brother knows Vince, too.
Your brother knows Vince. Everybody seems to know what Vince is thinking.
Come on, man. You personally, do you really think Vince is going to put that on last?
If I'm selling this, and I am selling it as the first Women's Royal Rumble, I would put it on last.
Interesting.
I would. Like you said, the Rumble sells itself. It's one of the big four, right? People will come all over to see the Rumble. People are there to see the surprise. People will want to know who the new surprises in that are coming in for the women's, and to be at a historical event. If you are that hardcore of a thing, you say, I was there when the first Women's Royal Rumble, and it was last.
Let me run this by you, and I think Big Ralph will agree with me when I say this. After you see the Men's Royal Rumble, after you see AJ Styles defend his title, after you see Brock Lesnar and Brock Lesnar and Braun Strowman.
No,
and,
Roman Reigns is at WrestleMania. Calm down.
Cornel. After you see Brock, Strowman, and Kane.
And Braun Strowman.
That's what I said. Strowman.
Oh.
After you see all that, right? Do you honestly think people are going to sit there in their seats to watch a Women's Royal Rumble match after all that hype?
I agree. It's just you should showcase it first because of the hype matches that are on the card.
Okay, but then your theory. All right, so you're saying that all the hype matches in between the two Rumbles, let's say there's one Rumble at the beginning, there's one Rumble at the end. All those hype matches are going to take away from the women's, but it's not going to take away from the men's?
No, if you put the women's first.
No. I'm asking, you're saying that you're putting it on first for the reasons of, because you have Brock, Braun, Kane, AJ, blah, 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 all in the middle, right? And that's going to take away. But isn't that taking away from the men's Royal Rumble too?
It does, but the difference is we've had men's Royal Rumble for X amount of years, so it's
And
not a special thing.
Can you name the last Royal Rumble that the men's did that you remembered?
92.
92. What year is it? 2018?
But you know why I remember 92, right?
Yeah, because that's the one Flair went all the way.
Exactly.
But, come on. 92 is the one you remember. Not even last year. Last year was the first year AJ appeared.
Was it last year? That was 2 years ago.
Last year's the one that Cena beat him for 16, right?
Now we're all confused. I thought last year's when AJ came in.
No, that was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago? Okay, well, I'm a little confused.
That's the one that Roman Reigns won.
Okay. But I'm saying you don't...
Yeah, last year's the one that Roman Reigns won.
The one we all remember is 92. Talk about, if we did any list, if you go to any list, 92 Royal Rumble is probably the top on everybody's list.
Yeah, but remember...
Other than that one, can you remember another men's Royal Rumble?
I don't remember the year, but I remember the one with Stone Cold winning.
Which one?
Yeah,
his first win. He won twice. I thought he won 3 times.
We won 2 back-to-back, I thought.
Oh, he won 3. Him and Hogan won 3.
No, but he won 2 back-to-back, and then he won a third one.
I remember, the one I remember, I want to say is 2009 was the last one I remember. And that was, the two end people were, it was in Madison Square. Was it Madison Square? No, I might be wrong on this, but I think it's 09. I might be wrong. It was Taker and Shawn were the last two.
And that set up Taker versus Shawn at WrestleMania.
That did not. That set up Taker versus Batista in WrestleMania because Taker won it and went after one of the belts. It set up them the next year. They started the Rumble the next year, right? They had their WrestleMania match, but it wasn't because of it was kind of because of the Rumble, but it started that feud.
You mean the 2007 one?
Whatever. One of them.
2008 Cena won it, and 2009 Randy Orton won. 2007 Taker won.
Okay, so there.
Google's my friend, my friend.
Google's your friend. So I remember that one, 2007. Taker winning it. Last two Shawn. Then the Rumble after that. They start. I remember that because I thought that was cool. And everybody remembers the Rumble that Cena came in at the end.
I actually remember last year's.
I remember the
I
one...
don't. I thought freaking AJ Styles was in it. Like, showed up out of nowhere.
I remember because Randy Orton won it.
I remember him winning it. That's right.
I remember the one that Rey Mysterio came out 30, and everybody thought it was going to be Daniel Bryan, and they completely protested.
Yeah, but did you think the match was good? No, right?
I don't remember the match.
Hell no.
Yeah.
So, but these women are going to try to make the first one the best. So if that's the case, don't you think that should be the end? Don't you think that should be the closer? You guys just don't want it to be. You know what? I feel outnumbered.
I'm not saying I don't want it to be, but...
The thing is, AJ Styles, no matter what match he's in, he draws in the crowd. Having him go before the Women's Rumble, it gets them too hyped, and then if anything goes wrong in the Women's Rumble, they're like, it wasn't as good.
Okay,
now, if you have the women's go first, no matter what happens, it's like, oh, it was a good match. And then you have AJ go right after, and they're like, yes, this was a great Rumble. I liked it. They should do more like this.
Your idea of the Rumble, and if it's... Now, Rumbles are long, so you know the middle of the Rumble is very just weak, right?
The beginning is weak.
The beginning can be a little weak, so you're coming off a high, you got a low. It's the end that really counts. And since you're having this as a first Women's Royal Rumble, you want to know who wins. It'll be exciting at the end. So you got an hour. So, okay, yeah, well, we just got off this high. We're excited. We're starting the Rumble. We got the first two entrants. We got that going. All right, and as it goes, it gets a little low. And then, somebody comes in as a surprise. And then it gets a little low. And, here's another surprise. And, wait, we're down to the last 4 or 5. Then it gets exciting. So it's a high and low match. So no matter if you come off the high of a AJ Styles or a Brock or whatever match, the Rumble will bring you down and build you back up. It's set up that way.
Yeah, but the thing about it...
Okay, you know what? I think the thing about it is the two of you just don't want the women to go on last.
Wait, you didn't even let me make my point.
All right.
Damn. All right, so I think this is a pretty stacked card, more stacked than has been in a recent memory. I mean, you have a Lesnar match, you have an AJ match, you have 2 Rumble matches. What else do you have?
I don't even know.
You got the U.S. title
Tournament, yeah.
So, I mean...
Do you have a tag team in there?
I'm not sure about the tag teams yet.
I don't think they've established that.
You have to compete with NXT the night before as well. And as we've seen, NXT have like murdered the main show pay-per-views. So they have a lot going on this Royal Rumble. So I don't think there's going to be a particular low point. So, I mean, we'll see.
Well, we won't know until January, or the end of January. What is it, 25th?
26th.
26th?
Let me check.
28th.
28th, I think, yeah.
Yes,
January 28th. So we won't know until then if where it's going to be on the card, and if, as you say, NXT is going to murder
it. It will. It's true. Every year NXT before a big pay-per-view they do better than the main show.
Well, we'll see, because, I mean, are you excited about Almas and Gargano?
Of course I am. I'm excited about that.
And then what are the other matches? You got Cole versus Black in a no disqualification match. You got the Authors of Pain or the Street Profits, I guess, against Fish and O'Reilly. Ember Moon is either going to go against Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane, or... I don't even know.
Probably going to be a triple threat, I think.
I mean, everything's still up in the air. I'm not excited about anything. Velveteen Dream isn't back. There's nothing to get excited about.
Dude, I'm excited about all the NXT.
I'm excited about the Rumble. Rumble's one of my favorite pay-per-views, so.
Yeah.
So, another pay-per-view that we could say murdered WWE's main roster.
Oh.
was Wrestle Kingdom 12 that happened on January 4th, and the double main event, but the one everybody's also all talking about, and the one that was on everybody's lips that caused what was the number 25,000 subscribers to New Japan World was the app, right?
No, just the subscriptions
to the subscription so they could do it was Alpha versus Omega. Chris Jericho versus Kenny Omega. So one of the 25,000 that purchased the subscription was our own Hollywood Marcus, who got to see the full match. Tell us about it, buddy, because I've seen snippets, but I haven't seen the whole match.
I saw the entire pay-per-view because I signed up for New Japan World at a very cheap 999 yen. Which translates to $9.99 in U.S. currency. But yeah, man, like, I loved the entire feel of the show because for whatever reason, when I watch WWE now, the mystique of it is gone. I don't get that sense of who is this person? I want to know more about them. Let me watch because I'm excited. Now I was just kind of like, okay, it's wrestling, it's whatever. But when I watched this one, every match seemed to have a buzz behind it, and I was like, who's this guy? I want to know more about him. Oh, what's his gimmick? What's he supposed to do? And the way they presented it felt more like a sport. They weren't plugging Twitter, they weren't plugging Facebook, they weren't saying, hey, find us here on social media. Everything felt like it mattered, right? Every match you saw seemed like a legit sporting event. The commentators treated it that way. The people around the ringside seemed to treat it that way. It just felt more organic and not as produced, aged, and forced like a WWE show does. And the two main events, Okada versus Naito and Omega versus Jericho, man, that's probably one of the best Jericho matches I've seen in a very long time. And Kenny Omega, I think his work up to this point speaks for itself, but this match has to be, I want to say, at my top 3 of his that I've seen. Like, it was... it kind of won... Like, you want to go back to, I want to say, early 2000s Jericho, but with more of an edge. Like, he's flicking people off, he's pushing referees, he's cursing people. I mean, this was the type of Jericho that you always wished you saw in WWE, but you never got a chance to. And it was a fight, man. They laid into each other. Like, it looked real. Like, Kenny got some color. It was one of those matches that you watch it and you go, so, this is what happens when somebody leaves WWE and can go out on their own, put on a match that they want to put on. Like, it was that good, and I recommend everybody go watch. It was excellent. And Naito versus Okada had to follow that for the New Japan title, and that match, it's like I said on Facebook the other day, like, Okada, I think, is number 2 right now in the world behind Kenny Omega. Like, that guy is just amazing. And Naito, he's no slouch either. Like, they put on, I want to say, like, a masterpiece of a match. It was really, really good.
Wow. I really am excited to see it. And one of the things I heard, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that Naito didn't want Jericho there because he felt it was unfair to have like a double main event, that everybody was talking about that match and nobody was talking about his match with Okada.
Correct. I'm not sure if it's a part of the angle that they're shooting now, because now Jericho is going to stay in New Japan for a little bit and work an angle with Naito, because he attacked him the day after Wrestle Kingdom. But yeah, Naito was like, what's this guy doing? Come over here, calling to get a main event. Like, Naito's story up to that point was literally, I've worked hard, I've done what I had to do, this is my moment to shine, I'm going to go after the title in the main event, and you're going to take that glory, that prestige, and that notoriety away from me? How dare you? So he wasn't pleased at all about Jericho coming in and quoting it or dubbing it a main event. And now they're working an angle together, so I'm not sure how much of that is kayfabe or shoot, but yeah, he wasn't happy about it.
So what do you think about Jericho working, as he stated many times that he wasn't going to go anywhere but WWE, he was a WWE guy, but now, he's at New Japan, and he's there for at least another program, as you said, with Naito. I mean,
he's working with Ring of Honor, too, because on his cruise next year,
yeah,
he has a whole bunch of Ring of Honor people on his cruise working the tournament, and whoever wins the tournament gets a shot at the Ring of Honor Championship. So I see him expanding out a lot more than New Japan.
And I'm not saying okay, so I'm going to say this. Do you think he is more of a Brock Lesnar type role in these places like New Japan and ROH, where he comes in for a program or two and then goes away?
I think he's a little bit more involved than Lesnar is. And I think on an international level and on an indie level, definitely he has more, his name carries more weight than Lesnar does.
Well, I believe Jericho did stints in Japan as well.
Yeah, before he came to WWE.
Yeah, so he's known in Mexico, he's known in Japan, he's known all over, so his name does carry a lot of weight.
I don't think other companies can afford Lesnar like WWE can, but I mean, we've heard the stories about Lesnar being difficult to work with and not really wanting to do a lot. Jericho's the type of person that if he's going to do something, he's all in. So, yeah, I think he carries a little bit more weight.
I mean, there was that one match between Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar where Strowman was feeding him his arm to go into the What's
Kokita
the
clutch.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I'm good. No, take the arm away.
What's that? You mean Samoa Joe?
No.
It was Braun Strowman.
It's not the Coquina clutch. That's Joe's. I forget what's the one.
Oh, well, yeah. What's the? Oh,
What's
Kokita
Brock
clutch.
Lesnar's
You're right.
submission?
What's his submission? That
Kimura?
armbar he does.
Kimura.
Kimura
Yeah.
lock. Kokita, Kimura. They all start with some weird K.
They start with a K. They both sound Japanese, so.
Yeah. No, Kakina is like Polynesian, I think, or like South Pacific.
Okay, they sound Asian. How about that?
Okay.
You can't say Asian. You gotta say Oriental. No. I'm joking. Let's not get into that. So you mentioned that you like the New Japan style because it gave it more of a sporting event, and is that the difference? Like you said, WWE is too overproduced, and there's not people doing Twitter and everything. But WWE is a global phenomenon. I don't think New Japan is considered a global phenomenon.
I think it is now. I think it started last year with the Kenny Omega Okada match. I think that put a lot of eyes on it, and I think with Jericho's involvement now, it's becoming rapidly like a world wrestling force.
Would you show your kid this?
Yeah.
Really? You're going to have him okay with Jericho flipping off people, blood everywhere? Would you let a 6-year-old watch that?
It wasn't.
Yeah, I would.
And I'm pretty sure that they see it a lot worse in school these days.
Really? A 6-year-old sees people flipping people off in their school?
Yeah.
He says, hey, that's my Tonka toy. Here, give him a bird.
I saw Stone Cold Steve Austin flipping people off when I was around that age. So
at 6?
Yeah. We've seen some stuff, man.
Okay, but, Ralph is from Colombia. He's seen some other stuff that we've all never seen, okay? So that doesn't count.
I'm from Liberty City, so, I mean, come on. I don't think people listening know what Liberty City is.
No, I don't think so.
But yeah. Oh, in Marty Scurll. This dude, like...
Well, wait a minute. I got the Marty Scurll thing because I've heard the villain, right? He's the villain?
Yeah.
So I heard a lot of good things about him, and I have not seen anything, which is one of the things I do want to see. But the production value of WB, you really think... I mean, WWE is catering worldwide, not only to that, but they're selling... Their merchandise is... the way they make their money is on little kids. New Japan, even though it's great as a sport, do you think it's going to hold a 6-year-old's attention?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think the bright colors and Fruity Pebble John Cena with all his different shirts is going to hold a kid's attention at 6-year-old than a, sweaty Japanese guys, flipping off people and whatnot.
Japanese guys.
No, a sweaty Japanese guy beating people up, making them bleed, that holds more attention, especially to the new generation growing up, than, high vibrant colors like, look at me. It's like, we can all see you. To quote The Rock.
Fruity Pebbles. But like I said, like when you watch wrestling, I can only speak for myself now. But when I watched it as a little kid, there was some mystique to it. I was like, wow, who is this guy?
Well, it was back in the days when you didn't know that at least I myself didn't know growing up that it was all fixed. So
but even still, like if you saw somebody come out, like, okay, I'm gonna go back to Ric Flair. He wasn't.
Don't you always?
I do. He wasn't the most flashy. He wasn't super colorful. Like he wore like just plain trunks and some boots.
The not flashy guy in the robe sequence.
He wasn't flashing wrestling, but he was flashing coming in, and that grabbed your attention.
Come on! He wasn't flashy.
When I first saw him wrestle, I didn't see his interest. I just saw him in the ring. And I was like, who is this guy? And it made me want to watch more, right? And then I saw the robes and everything else. That was after, but the initial interaction was him wrestling in the ring. I was like, dude, who is this guy?
He's flashing in the ring, too, with his flips.
Flips?
Yeah, the Flair flip.
Oh, the one in the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, but the thing is, like, the in-ring work made me interested about everything else that he did, right? Watching New Japan, like, the in-ring work is what you watch for, and that makes you interested in the people themselves. Like I said with Marty Scurll, like you watch his matches, it makes you go, who is this guy? Just by his in-ring work alone. That makes you want to invest more of your time into finding out who he is. So I think for a kid watching, if they watched the in-ring product of New Japan, they're going to end up being, who are these people? I need more.
I don't know. I really think a little kid is attention span if it's all the same and it's just these like you said. I mean, as you get older, that stuff you appreciate. But a little kid is not going to go and look at all these things that are presented in the sports fashion and really be interested. Maybe one or two things make them think, but that's not going to hold their attention for a show. Where WWE, the production is very bright, it's very colorful, it has a lot of different characters, it has a little bit of comedy in there. You have your wrestlers that are comedian wrestlers, you have your wrestlers that are, specific for kids, and you have the wrestlers that are for the adults. That's what it was. That's the difference between you're catering to a certain demographic in New Japan and you're catering to another demographic in WWE, or a broader demographic, I would say.
So are you poo-pooing the global force that New Japan is starting to become?
No, I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm actually enjoying that they are becoming what they are, because I think that we need that kind of competition to, in wrestling, you need to have those other things. If you were going to tell me who the big ones were 10, 20 years ago, you're going to say WCW, ECW, WWE. You had those were the three you knew about. As time went on, you now say WWE, ROH, and TNA. That's what happened after 2000, let's say. When WCW went under, you had these other promotions pull up, and that's what you watched, right? Now, with TNA, Impact, Global Force, nobody really paying attention to it. It's there, but no, it's not really made an impact until Hardy came around. Now you're saying, I would say, and this is me, that your main three are WWE, New Japan, and ROH, right?
Yeah.
And I think that competition is good for the business, and it's good for the talent, and it's good for the creativity that comes out of it. Broken Matt Hardy would have never come around if he didn't go to TNA. Bullet Club and Young Bucks and their thing would never be what they are if they didn't leave TNA.
True.
So I like the idea of having the promotions. I'm not poo-pooing it. I want to see New Japan stuff because that stuff does interest me. And the only way you could see it is if you have Access TV, which I don't have cable anymore, and if you have the app or the subscription,
which I do.
Which you did assign because of the match that they promoted. So I'm all for it. I'm all for looking for this stuff. I'm all for watching ROH. I'm all for it. There's just so many hours in a day that you can watch it, but I'm all for doing it. So I'm not poo-pooing on that. I'm just saying that your presentation of saying that New Japan's better, it's just the way the product is presented is that way for this demographic, and WWE caters to a very broad demographic from here to there, and I don't think New Japan goes for the demographic of the ones younger than 18, maybe 15. A 15-year-old might like that stuff too, but under that, they don't really have anything for that demographic. The only reason why that demographic will go to a New Japan product is because their dad or mom, because now would go to that show or watch that show.
I understand your point, and I see your point, and I accept your point.
But he still disagrees with it.
I don't know, man. Because New Japan reminds me of WWE.
Hello?
Hello?
You said New Japan reminds you WWE?
Before WWE went PG.
Oh. Well, yeah. I mean, different times. I don't know. I can't.
The difference is the U.S. has so many restrictions on things, and Japan doesn't. So they can still produce that kind of. How is it? They can still showcase that kind of wrestling without any limitations on them.
The thing about WWE is it's pretty much untouchable just because of how much they have for the network, live shows. They have so many ways of generating revenue that, like, what are you going to do to touch them? The only way that you are going to affect them is to become competition. I see New Japan being that competition, especially if they keep guys like Kenny on. Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
Sorry. No, okay. To be honest, in a sidebar, because I'll probably cut this part. You're cutting out a little, so the problem I'm having is I'm not sure when you're done talking. So I'm quiet because I don't know if you finished or not. So you said that people like Kenny Omega, and I was like, was there more to it? Because Kenny Omega, and it just kind of stopped. So I wasn't sure if there was more to it. So I kind of stopped.
I wonder why it does that, because it just picks times to do that for whatever reason.
I don't know.
It's like when it was happening to me, where
but it's been fine through the whole thing. It's just all of a sudden it started doing that, and it's kind of weird.
You know why? Because we probably started talking about New Japan too much, so we should probably pick another time.
So you know what? I think WWE started to cut you out. So, this
guy's
talking about New Japan, and he's already picking a fight with Meltzer, and then he wants to pick a fight with Vince, and now this guy, we're going to cut his mic.
With Mick Mahan.
Mick Mahan, and we're going to cut his mic, so that's what's going on.
Yep.
Tomfoolery. Well, if we could take anything away from this podcast, I will take... Ralph, what is your take on the whole New Japan and WWE?
I think WWE should, do more things like New Japan is doing. Unfortunately, they can't. So, for the foreseeable future, they're gonna bring out stale matches and stale programming. Hopefully, the Rumble doesn't disappoint me. Well, let me rephrase that. Hopefully, the female Royal Rumble doesn't disappoint me.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
You mean wow?
Well, because the show in a whole could be bad.
Well, no.
You're like, well, as long as the female Royal Rumble is good, I'm okay, but the rest of the show could be crap.
I already stated that any match that AJ Styles in is going to be a good match, so he's not going to disappoint me. Brock Lesnar can disappoint me, and he has. The male Royal Rumble has disappointed me, especially the one, I forget which one. I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, where they eliminated Daniel Bryan, and then Shattered Dream Productions came on the Titron. That was just...
I was disappointed last year because AJ lost Cena. And I was like, why did you do that? And then Cena lost it like a month later. I'm like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah, so
I guess what we can take away from this podcast is two things. One, you guys want WWE to be more like New Japan, so you're poo-pooing on WWE, and you guys want the women to go on first because you don't believe the women should be showcased in a first ever Royal Rumble because I don't know.
No.
You don't
it's
like
not that
women.
we don't believe that they shouldn't
like
be
women.
showcased.
I love women.
Hey, I'm married to a woman. I love women. No, I shouldn't say that out loud, though.
You don't want to say you love women out loud?
Not with my wife. She could hear them. She could take it the wrong way.
I'll put it to you this way. Next year, they can close the show, but this year, let's be safe.
Okay. So that's our opinions, everybody. If you have any comments or any concerns about their way of thinking, please leave a comment in the comment section and let us know what you think, if the women should be showcased first or last on the Royal Rumble. And as always, here at the GWP, we have a match that we like to call the main event. Our main event match this week was a pick. See, you guys screwed me up with the whole thing. We here at the GWP... going to try this again. Take two. We here at the GWP like to call it. You know what? I'm going to cut all this because you guys are laughing and
No, don't
it's making
cut
us good.
No, you say WGP. It's GWP.
Okay, well, I don't. You know what? It's your match, Ralph. You say the tagline. Tell him it's the main event. What's the main event, Ralph?
The main event I picked because I love women. It's the first Iron Woman match between Bayley and Sasha at NXT TakeOver Respect. See, I didn't get tongue-tied.
No, you didn't.
I will now.
Hey, wait, say this Spanish.
What?
What?
Say what you say that whole thing in Spanish.
Está loco?
Okay.
Yeah, you heard me.
So this match, which is with women and highlighted a first ever Iron Man match that ended the Respect pay-per-view, which apparently you guys had no problem with that.
No,
I think so. If you saw Brooklyn, you already knew they had the capability of
exactly. They had already showcased that they were up to the job of main eventing. It was the first ever main event pay-per-view female match. Did I say that right?
Sure.
Yes.
All right, let's go with that.
All right, Ralph. Then why did you pick this match and what did you like about it?
I picked it because again, it showcased how women wrestling had evolved over the years. Where back in the old days, let's make someone feel old. Back in the old days, women were just seen as eye candy. And ever since the NXT roster, the NXT female roster came into the scene, they have been putting excellent matches where it culminated in Sasha and Bayley main eventing a pay-per-view. And doing history by making the first women's Iron Woman match. It's also my favorite Sasha was there. The heel Sasha.
The boss.
The boss. Making little girls cry and just wiping the floor with Bayley.
That was funny. She made that little girl cry. She snatched her head back.
She did. She made that poor little girl cry. What was her name? Izzy? She made that poor little Izzy cry.
But see, that's what I like about the heels. They should be making people cry. That's why Sasha is one of my favorite heels.
Because she's really a heel. She doesn't.
Yeah.
Like she's a natural heel. Like
Yeah,
I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know why she's
and-
doing what she's doing.
In one of the falls, she just wrecks Bayley and just throws her against the
LED.
the LED, and then just leaves her there for the ring out. I mean, what more of a heel can you ask for?
It's true.
Did you guys watch the match?
Yeah, saw the match.
What do you guys think of it?
I loved it. After watching Brooklyn, I wanted more. And I was like, they have to wrestle again. I need to see more. Give me more. And they did. They delivered. And if you watch the first match, the dynamic between those two, playing off the injuries and everything else, like that story was built so good over the course of I don't know how many months. Bayley didn't think she was good enough. She couldn't win the big one. She felt like she didn't belong. And then she finally won it. And it was like, wow, like you felt something watching that match. So then the follow-up, it's like, all right, Bayley got here. Now, can she keep it? Can she beat Sasha again? So the whole match, you're thinking, you didn't know who's going to win. You didn't know what happened. It was one of those matches where you legit watched it thinking, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm so invested that I can't stop. I can't stop. You have to look at it. And then at the end of the match, when Bayley retained, it's like, wow, that was amazing. Just some of the in-ring work scared me because they took risks I didn't think they should have. Yeah,
there was one move that Bayley did on Sasha where I'm like, oh shoot, she broke her neck.
Yeah, I saw that. That looked pretty bad.
Yeah, that was scary. But I mean, other than that, I want to say top 5, for me.
Top five overall or top 5 women's matches?
Top 5 overall.
I could see that. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be prepared for. I wouldn't say that. But anyway, I think the way they built the match, the way they decided that they were going to be very friendly at first, and they shook hands and they were talking to each other. Then all of a sudden, they were trying to one up, and then it was getting frustrating because neither one was getting the better of the other one, and then it was just like, I think Sasha was in the corner and Bayley went to extend her hand like to help her up, out of respect, and pulled Sasha up, and Sasha was like, okay, thanks, and then just decks her, just heelish. It was just the greatest heel. And then from that point, it got progressively more aggressive. Like you saw Sasha be more aggressive, and then you saw Bayley be more aggressive. Then you saw them do more things to the point where you just wanted to see they were trying to destroy each other. And as it got closer to the end, in the last 2 minutes, you just saw them trying. I mean, some of the stuff that Sasha was doing when Bayley was in the bank statement, kicking her hands away so she couldn't grab the bottom rope, and then Bayley's only course of reaction or only way she can get out was to pull the fingers, break her fingers, almost like really do it. And it's an aggressive Bayley, which they toned down on the main roster, with that whole, I'm not going to hit Alexa with a kendo stick, where you see here, she totally beat up. Like she was trying to hurt Sasha, but because it was Sasha, hurting her first.
Yeah, Bayley's NXT run was so much better than when she went up to the main roster.
Her goodness.
They just, I don't know what Mick Mahan was thinking with toning her down. They should have just kept her as she was.
I mean, again, and this is production-wise, they're trying to, they're catering to the kids. And you need to have that female John Cena, and Bayley looks like pretty much like a female John Cena without the super in front of her.
Without the super?
Who she looks like, though? She looks like Grant Gustin. The female Grant Gustin.
Female Grant Gustin.
She does.
I'm not saying no. I can understand the reference.
I don't know if these people know who Grant Gustin is, but...
Well, you know what? Okay, the bell is off. That means we have to stop. So, thank you for listening to the GWP. We are part of the Unique Geek Network. So look for us on our website, ugeekly.com, which is UGEEKLY. Under that same name, ugeekly, you'll follow us under Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We currently also have a Twitch page, which is run by our own Hollywood Marcus. Hollywood, what are we working on this week?
Oh,
what are we streaming?
I streamed The Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past. Tomorrow's going to be Warcraft. Saturday's going to be Zelda. Sunday's going to be Warcraft. Then the Liz comes, and I'm not sure what we're going to stream to.
Of course, we got to get the Liz in here. Who knows what we're going to stream when the Liz was here? Who knows what the cameras will pick up? It's all a mystery to us.
I mean, make it sound a little bit more scandalous than it is.
So you can find our podcast on the Podbean. We are also now on Apple Podcasts. So please subscribe and leave us a comment and give us a 5-star rating. Tell us what you like about us so we can read it on the air. Until next time, I'm the Texas Tornado, Jose Sands. I'm here with the Hollywood Dream, Marcus, and the Hammer. We won't tell you why, Ralph. And we say, see you next time.
Bye.
Later.